Okay, we're going to start this video with my latest project, which is to redo this deck. And I can say that it's been a little frustrating, but I'm going to stick through it to the end. I've sanded and I've put stripper on it, and it refuses to be stripped. So then we're moving over here to the west, to the northeast. And you can see here's Kathy's garden. And I'll get a little closer so you can see more clearly. These are the frogs. They live on here, less in numbers, but they do live on. These are the Johnny Jumps. They just do their business and jump. The frogs in the back there came from my niece Renee, and in the front, that was from Suzanne Ulmer years ago. And this here is my Kathy garden. Last year she gave me a gift certificate to Mount Garfield, and there's white tulips in there, dark purple tulips, striped purple tulips, and daffodils, of which were dug all up last year and replanted in little clusters. And this is a spirea, very different from the ones we had in Iowa, but quite pretty really, turns very nice colors. This is a hot area, it doesn't like it much, but back there on the left are, well, a memory lapse here. Anyway, maybe it'll come later. And there's pestamon that don't do well, but I put some mulch on them hoping they would do better. Back to the tulip garden in the back there, you see some allium. They'll get big purple blossoms on them. Those seem to like it there. Back in the back, you can see some, but they aren't as vibrant. And this guy right in front of you is called a sumac, beautiful colors and tends to spread. And there's some more of those flowers that, poppies, those are poppies. And all of this is ground cover. This ground cover gets a beautiful yellow bloom on it. And here's another group of pestamon. Don't know whether it'll make it or not. And in the back there are some gladiolas trying to make their way through. And then here's some asters that will have purple flowers. And then this guy has a little blue flower on it eventually. Hopefully. We need rain. And then this is a beautiful tree that has been transplanted 3 times and finally found its happy space. It's some sort of blue spruce. It won't get as huge as the one on the east side of my property. And then over here is a bunch of ground cover. And these are small Alberta spruce. I like them. And then this is the garden area. As you can see in there, there's some more Johnny jump ups. I'll be raking that mulch and then taking the rototiller to that area. And then over here, I transplanted these guys last year. These are clematis. And last year at the beginning of coronavirus, I painted all of these trellises and my lawn furniture. So there's 2 sets of clematis there, and they may have found their happy place too. Time will tell. And then here's some more clematis. One more plant. And then the Johnny jump ups, as I said, they come up wherever they would like. And then these are irises. Many of them came from my Uncle Rex when he lived in Oregon. They have a beautiful pink blossom and a purple blossom. And over here in this flowing flower pot, last year I put moss rose in there. I'm hoping that it'll seed on its own. In October we had quite the frost here, so that's why the brown leaves are hanging on. This thing really is not dead. If you look over here to the far, you can see hers towering over. But some of our trees just didn't like that last frost and retained their leaves a lot longer than usual. And now we're walking down here. This is a forsythia. It quite hasn't got its mojo yet, but thankfully it's living. And those are the daffodils, not as brilliant this year, but because they were all transplanted, but they were pretty. I just should have taken a picture sooner. And then this guy is, it turns red. This is about its 4th transplant, so I'm hoping that it will bush out and be beautiful. And then this guy here is a wigelia. It looks pretty dead, but down at the bottom this morning I discovered with a friend that it's growing, so I'll probably bring the reciprocal saw out here and cut that off. And then right next to it is a hydrangea, and maybe you can see a little bit of green on it. And then this is another hydrangea that was absolutely beautiful in its young years, but as you can see, part of the plant has died. And then here's another wigelia coming on. These get a real pretty red bloom on them. They're not my favorite, but I have them and might as well keep them. And over here, you can see the peonies are coming up. They usually bloom here around Memorial Day. It looks like they could be a little earlier. We're so dry here. And then all of these are hydrangeas. They were planted out front, but young man Sawyer helped me, well, he did transplant these for me last year. And it's my hope with being under the tree here, they're gonna have a happier time. That's also a hydrangea, another hydrangea. And then in the background there, you can see that one little tulip about ready to sprout a red bulb, red flower, and then more daffodils. And I was so happy this morning when I did the first take of this because the hosta are coming up. So this will be filled with hosta. You can see those little pointy things. Those are hostas. These are Easter lilies, of which we were invited to take another one from church today. And so there will be a pink one amongst those white ones. Then I'll need to transplant those guys right there, over there with their sisters. And these are grape hyacinth, and their foliage, I don't know why, it doesn't look good, but then the purple comes on, so that's wonderful. And then these are some that I also got with the gift certificate that Kathy gave me. I'm not quite sure what they are. I just don't know, but we'll see, hopefully. And then right beside them, that group's not doing so well, but is another kind of flower. And yesterday I checked all the sprinklers, and I found one up here that did not, well, I tripped over it or something. I had to replace it. I think you can see it there with the little white head. And then this bench, it'll be the next project with the sander and the stripper. As you can see, I hastily did it last year, and hopefully I can do a better job this year, sand it down. And then this is the front berm in the front yard, and there's a lot of daffodils. The double daffs are coming on and pretty, but the rest of them are pretty well died. That stuff gets a pretty purple flower on it. This is moss rose. It'll have a purple flower on it. And that's a mom. And this has a pretty blue flower on it. There's a rose here. One of my roses didn't do so well this year. Those are crane bills. And you can see the crocus and more daffs and tulips and more grape hyacinth. And over at the end of the yard there are 3 roses, and then those are shrubs. They were supposed to get 6 by 6. I hope they stop growing because I think they've meant the 6 by 6. But as you can tell by the yard, we are having extremely dry time here, and hopefully that'll change. But we do have irrigation water, but that may be limited. So anyway, that's the tour, and I hope you enjoy it. 15, well, I guess I don't need to give that information, but it's my yard. Bye.